Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through some incredibly fascinating source material today that is going to completely change how you view your morning routine. Did you know that over 60% of people abandon their highly ambitious morning routines by day 2? I know, it's a staggering number, but honestly, it makes complete sense. If you've ever set this wildly optimistic alarm only to wake up feeling totally exhausted and just utterly defeated, you are absolutely not alone. Today, we're going to unpack exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how the sources say we can fix it once and for all.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the morning routine myth, and exactly why that 5 a.m. dream falls apart. We really need to confront a struggle pretty much all of us have faced when trying to become a quote-unquote morning person. We've all been sold this grandiose dream of the perfect, highly productive morning, but the reality? Well, it often falls remarkably short.
So why do perfect morning routines actually fail? Have you ever tried to start one of those picture-perfect routines? You know the ones I'm talking about. You aim to wake up bright-eyed at 5 a.m., sit in perfectly silent meditation, maybe drink some complex green smoothie, and hit the gym with just boundless energy. But then, it all completely falls apart the very next day. It's incredibly frustrating, right? You go to bed feeling like this highly motivated warrior, and you wake up literally bargaining with yourself just for 5 more minutes of sleep.
There is just this massive gap between what we boldly plan at night and what actually happens when the sun comes up. Expectation versus reality. We usually end up hitting snooze 5 times and crawling out of bed at 8:30 a.m., feeling like a total failure before the day has even officially started. But here's where the source material clarifies something absolutely crucial, and you really need to internalize this. This is not because you lack willpower. You aren't lazy. There is actually a fundamental, structural flaw in your approach to the morning itself.
Which brings us to Section 2, the messy foundation, building a masterpiece on a broken base. See, the real reason you wake up confused and end up wasting your absolute best morning energy is simply that you're attempting to build a masterpiece on a fundamentally messy foundation. You literally cannot construct a highly effective morning if the night before was complete chaos.
And that leads to this brilliant paradigm shift from the sources. They put it perfectly. Good days usually start the night before. It sounds so incredibly simple, doesn't it? But actually applying it changes the whole game. If you want to own your morning, you have to realize that productivity begins long before your head ever hits the pillow. Your morning is failing because, well, your night is a mess.
So what exactly is making our nights such a mess? The sources point to this fascinating psychological phenomenon called emotional anesthesia. Basically, many of us use our phones to escape the quiet anxiety of our own thoughts. Instead of processing the day, we numb ourselves with endless content. We use the screen as a buffer to avoid thinking about our stressors, which leads to staying awake and doom scrolling until 2 a.m. And that nightly habit? It slowly but surely fractures our focus and absolutely destroys our deep sleep quality.
Okay, so how do we fix it? Let's get into Section 3, the Night Reset Blueprint, a simple structure to kill morning chaos. If you're serious about changing direction, the source text introduces a seriously powerful tool. It requires structure and discipline rather than some complicated, exhausting 10-step morning ritual. You don't need an ice bath, you just need a system.
Let's define exactly what this system is. The night reset is the practice of taking just 5 minutes to plan the next day and finishing short pending tasks to prevent stress and unnecessary overthinking. It's a super straightforward habit designed to clear all that unfinished work bouncing around in your head. You know the exact feeling. Suddenly remembering you forgot to send a crucial email at 11:30 p.m. and lying awake stressing about it. This reset gets those thoughts out of your brain so you can actually rest. And look at this number, 5. The barrier to entry here is just remarkably low. The very first phase of taking back your morning takes literally just 5 minutes with a notebook. You don't need a monumental block of time to change the trajectory of your life. Just 5 minutes of intentional, focused effort at night yields massive, massive returns the next morning.
The source material breaks this down into a really tactical step-by-step blueprint you can follow tonight to guarantee an incredible tomorrow. It's just 3 steps. Step 1, plan the uncomfortable task. Step 2, finish small tasks. And Step 3, remove the phone. Let's break these down so you know exactly how to execute them tonight.
Let's dive into Step 1. Grab a notebook tonight and identify the single uncomfortable task for tomorrow. The sources are very specific here. This task must be something that builds your future income or core skills. Why income or core skills? Because those are the high-leverage activities that actually move the needle in your life. Naturally, they're also the things we most want to procrastinate on.
But by making that one hard decision tonight, your mind won't waste a single ounce of energy on uncertainty when you wake up. You eliminate morning confusion entirely and jump straight into meaningful action. To really make this work, the explainer sources show we have to clearly separate our work into two distinct buckets. First, you've got your unfinished business. These are the tiny tasks taking just a few minutes. You've got to knock these out tonight. If ignored, they create this subconscious loop of stress that completely ruins your sleep. On the flip side, you have your tasks for tomorrow. That's your one uncomfortable task that requires your absolute best, freshest energy and actually pushes your life forward. Clear the small stuff tonight, attack the big stuff tomorrow. But planning is really only half the battle. This brings us to Section 4, protecting your clean window, boundaries, sleep, and morning clarity. The other half of owning your morning is creating a physical environment that forces you to disconnect and actually get some rest. You have to establish firm, unshakable boundaries.
The sources insist that you must completely cut the triggers. You need to put your phone in another room or maybe hide it inside a drawer a full hour before bed. The others point out a brilliant truth here. Physical barriers are far more effective than willpower, simply because addiction absolutely loves convenience. If the phone is sitting right next to your bed, let's be real, you're going to use it. Environment design beats sheer willpower every single time.
So what on earth do you do with that final hour? Will you actively break the dopamine addiction? Your bed is for sleep only. Use that hour to sit in silence, write down your thoughts, and truly clear your mind. Now, taking an hour away from your phone to do this, it might feel incredibly uncomfortable at first. Your brain is going to crave that quick dopamine hit. But embracing that initial discomfort is exactly how you reset your baseline and break the addiction to cheap, immediate stimulation. Furthermore, you've got to stabilize your body clock. Committing to a strict 7 to 8 hour sleep window at the exact same time every single night biologically signals your brain that waking up and moving is normal. It removes the massive physical friction of dragging yourself out of bed. Basically, your body starts to anticipate the morning rather than constantly fighting against it. And why do we do all of this? To protect what the sources call your clean window. This term refers to those early, precious hours immediately after you wake up, when your brain hasn't even had the time to build excuses yet. The friction is essentially zero. By doing all of this quote-unquote boring work the night before, you completely protect this clean window, ensuring you have optimal mental clarity to tackle your uncomfortable task before the day's endless stream of distractions even begins. Ultimately, this explainer isn't just about some quick, one-night fix so you can have a randomly productive Tuesday. It's about cultivating a powerful lifestyle of action first. It's a genuine identity shift. You are repeatedly proving to yourself that you are the kind of person who actually keeps their promises, especially the promises you make to yourself. Action first is exactly how clarity comes, and it builds an unshakable foundation of self-trust. So if you're ready to genuinely reclaim your mornings, break that endless loop of stress, and start this reset tonight, I want you to head down to the comments right now and type "Challenge Accepted." The very moment you make that public commitment, your reset begins. And as you log off today, I'll leave you with this one final question to ask yourself. What masterpiece will you build tomorrow now that your foundation is finally clear?